welcome to the second episode of Reformed Film Lab podcast. Today on the docket we have why.
We're like,
yes.
Yep.
It's been a very long week.
It's a long day.
It's a long week.
John left.
John was on vacation this week, so we were working to compensate so he could just be living it up.
Lounging on the beach.
Lounging on the beach. Today's topic, though, is why is film photography so popular?
We talk about what's on the table first?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's our topic for the day is why is film photography...
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't talk for this podcast.
Film photography's back, and we're going to tell you why.
So, yeah, we have some different stuff on the table today. Sierra, why don't you kick us off? Because you were excited about putting the camera you found.
We just opened
You can grab it.
the LC wide camera today for the store, and I discovered, I don't know how many of you guys knew this, but it has a shutter release.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's so much fun. Like, it's so satisfying. Like,
Ultra wide angle.
yeah. It's fun.
So this camera is actually... Lomography makes a whole bunch of fun cameras, but this is one that's like really nicely built. Not that there others aren't, but it's just built like a tank. Like it's metal. It was like, I don't want to touch it.
I know. I got a copy.
But it shoots full frame. It shoots half frame in a square format.
Square, yeah.
It has like inserts
that go in.
and then you just make a change.
That will not be fun to scan.
It has an ISO. Yeah.
Oh, it does?
It has an ISO dial, so you can put in the
it's right
different films, so it can meter appropriately.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
How much is it for one?
It's how much was it?
$400.
$400. But yeah, go ahead and grab it. Like it's super nice. It's well built.
Yeah.
Wowzers. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a really compact, simple point and shoot.
On the bottom, John, there's a switch that you can bottom. There it is, and it'll open. Yeah, I think it's this.
Boom.
Yeah.
Dang,
So if
that's
you
pretty
want a
nifty.
compact point and shoot, that's going to be durable, even though it's kind of pricey. It's super nice, especially considering it shoots half frame. You can change between half frame and full frame. I don't know about doing it mid roll. That would be annoying. No, you can't do it mid roll.
Don't
It needs
do
an
it
insert.
mid-roll. It's very annoying.
It's hard. It's hard to scan.
People
You have
have
to
done
scan.
it, and it's you have to
scan
scan
your roll
it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can because it has that insert. Like you put in a half frame insert in the
Yeah,
middle.
you'd have
Okay.
to. Oh,
Yeah.
you'd have to open the camera.
I know there's one that
Yeah,
doesn't
it's a
the
little
lens
flip.
just change. Like you click up on the lens and it...
Yeah, like there's a really nice one, the Hasselblad X-Pan,
Ours.
and you talk expensive. The camera's like $4,000 to $5,000 with like one lens.
No.
We actually was just scanning somebody's the other day, but it's like a perfect pano, like two frames side by side, but super sharp lens, low distortion. And I think that one you can switch mid-roll. You can shoot full frame, you can shoot pano, but it's crazy nice. They're just rare though, so that's why they're so pricey.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a little blurb about that.
Yeah. Aside from that, we had a field trip today.
That we did.
We had our last field trip for the
Year.
of the year. I guess the school year,
The
because
school year.
we're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into May. But we did a field trip for some younger kids, and today's field trip was for older kids. It was like middle school, high school. What do you guys think of it?
I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed it. I had this group of 4 that had specifically shot black and white, and it was fun because they were actually asking questions. I was able to explain how it works, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think compared to our previous field trips have been like elementary school age and maybe some early middle school. So I feel like this group, they're actually into shooting film because it was a fine arts private school, and they're actually taking photography classes. So they actually all brought in a variety film like Portra, Ultramax. That was the HP5s.
Yeah, some HP5, some
Purple.
Wolfman.
Oh, here it is.
I don't like it. Any of you.
All right, have a seat and show that bad boy off.
So yeah, we wanted to show this off. I mean, John did mention how he was hottest in the office last episode, so we thought apropos for him to have his own poster.
We gotta put it up next to that
right
one.
next to that
So
one.
next podcast it'll be on
Next
the wall.
podcast it'll be
I
out
definitely
there.
want the thunder stolen from the...
Tell us about the photo. Like, what was going on with it?
Yeah, what was going on
I was
with it?
forced against my will to go outside and take pictures for, which was it, the Pro 400H video?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
And then I was told to lay out, and so I just did it. And I modeled,
So then we printed the photo up on a 13 by 19 paper, and we put it right above our scanners where he works. And it was up there for a few days, and then he took it down, and we were asking, like, well, where did you put it?
How did you even find that? I had that hidden.
It was not hidden that well.
Yes, it was. It was back up behind that back shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all knew.
Isaac literally found it after like 5 minutes of looking.
Yeah, so
You guys looked for it?
you hit it.
You're weirdos, okay?
you hit it, and then this week when you were gone, Isaac was here. Isaac's one of our other employees, and we were just telling him about the story. And no joke, literally, he goes back to the back of the lab, and within like 3 minutes, he comes back with a photo. He found it.
You guys missed me that much? You had a picture of me? Like, sheesh.
Oh, no.
Yes.
You can tell yourself that's why we found it.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, today was good. End of the week, we had a great field trip. I think I could see them coming back next year.
One of the kids actually asked if they could already.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was better because like what you were saying, they were actually asking questions.
Yeah.
The previous field trips we did was just the single-use cameras. The little kids just saw the single-use cameras, but they were using nicer film cameras. I think the teacher actually brought the film cameras, like an old Canon.
It was actually it was one of those nicer ones. It was like right before that digital kind of made. So it was like had like a lot of those. It's like my Nikon that I had. It has like the more advanced settings, so you can really dial in.
I didn't get to
shots.
see it. Man.
Yeah, he had it here, but so yeah, they all got to use it and they seemed interested, and we literally had like 16 high schoolers here. It was a packed house.
It was a lot of people
Yeah,
at one
for sure.
time in the lab. So that was interesting, and like weaving in and out, trying to grab things, trying to also like finagle that was
We have a lot of boxes right now too, so it's like pretty
Yeah.
pretty
it
tight.
ended up being fine.
Thankfully, they were put back there, but yeah, it was a little more intimidating too in my area because like I had so many people doing it at the same time. Because with the e-commerce side, I have to be like checking, making sure everything is getting put correctly into the envelopes, and it was very interesting to have like 4 or 5 high schoolers doing it at the same time. They did a good job, but it was a little more stressful than the little kids.
Yeah, the previous field trip was the younger kids. We had, and the younger kids liked packing up orders. So we had orders going out for the day, and they packed them up, and it was great. And I think their favorite part was rating our recycled single-use cameras. What was that about?
I don't know. There was one girl asked like, "Oh, like I wish I could have kept my disposal." Like, oh, you can grab one, and then all of them were like, "Really, we can take one?" So they took a bunch of them, and
Banging them on the table, making the flashes go off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we recycle single-use cameras, and we have a box, and they took them. And single-use cameras, if you wind them and you just hit them on the table, they'll flash. And at one point, we had like a rave going on of all these
No one
flashes.
was epileptic.
Yeah, it was not.
It would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, but it was a good field trip, and I think they would come back next year. The teacher, Tim, he was super cool. We've been talking for months about setting this up, and I'm going to New Zealand next week for 2 weeks. I was like, it's now or never. You come now, or we just can't do it. And so we made it work. It worked out pretty well.
The teacher was awesome, but he reminded me like almost a spitting image of a teacher from Daytona State, Professor Cushion. It was wild. Even like his mannerisms were like, I was like, are you sure you're not like
he was saying it's
related
like
or
typical photographer teacher vibe. You just kind of like slowly mold into that type of person. But it was a good trip. It was fun. Our photo wall of fame expanded probably by about 10 photos today.
Got some good ones up there now.
Yeah.
Got some funny ones too.
Yeah. So on to the main topic.
All right.
Why is film photography so popular in a digital age?
Looks amazing.
I think it's also more of a challenge. Because you can't just, retake the image. No, you actually have to
Well, you can.
Well, you can, but I mean, it's not like a...
Like you
It's not like
you
a
take the
digital-
photo, you look at your screen, you're like, crap, I don't like this. I have to retake it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
wait.
there's a novelty there.
Yeah.
It makes you stop.
Makes you stop.
Think more.
We're all seriously just contemplating this deep in thought. Yeah, I do think there's that part of it that in a digital age, everything's so instant, like instant gratification. Like we've talked about this. And even with smartphones, I think the iPhone came out in 2007. And ever since then, everyone's basically had a smartphone, always had a camera on them. So to be able to take a photo, I can't see it. I have to wait. I most likely have to mail it off if I don't have a local lab nearby. And I have to wait to get those images. Probably also makes you appreciate them more.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think so.
Everyone's like,
Yeah.
I think some people too are like diehard film people. Like they won't do digital because they're just like, no, film is better.
Yeah. I think we've had customers over the years who have never transitioned to digital. I think they've always shot film.
Mhm.
They're like, I could never, either like maybe they tried it and they're like, it just wasn't for me, so they've maintained it. But I would say in the past 5, did the light just flicker?
Yes, it's
Okay.
going on and off.
On and off. Maybe
I
the
was,
battery's
I
dying.
was like, what the heck?
Yeah. All right, I'm not crazy. But I think, there's definitely something about digital
broke it.
that can't be replicated. It's definitely going on and off. I don't think we charged it before we started.
Yeah, you definitely can't replicate that film look. And I think
No.
with when social media really started to blow up, and it gained a big following on social media. I think that's where it really started to regrow again. It's because people were posting, like, oh, look at these, and then a bunch of famous like celebrities and stuff started doing it, and so everyone kind of started like copying them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was like a big boom, was like through social media, because like right in 2020, everyone was kind of stuck at home and everyone was on social media more, and I think that look started to be seen, and now like it's like a look that pretty much every influencer and like celebrity tries to go for, and all of their social media posts like that grainy film look. You see it a lot, like a lot of people shooting film now.
With the warm look,
Yeah,
too.
you
I feel
can't.
like,
I mean,
they have-
there's like digital presets that try to replicate. Okay, this preset's going to look like Portrait 400 or Ektar, and in some ways the colors match. But I do think you just
Not the
can't. You
same.
can't match the same look, because there was I got an email from one of the companies that does that, and they were showing off how accurate the colors were. And so they were saying, okay, this is Kodak Ektar, this is Kodak Ektar preset, and they looked similar in color, but the Ektar looked like a film photo, and the digital just looked too clean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that no noise, no nothing. And I was just like, okay, yeah, the colors look the same, but it was missing that.
Je ne sais quoi.
I was literally about to say that.
What did you say?
Je ne
sais
sais quoi.
Say it 3 times fast.
No.
So I do think there's, essentially that going for it. But you're right about COVID, like, because we started
Oh, yeah.
the summer of 2020. So COVID started up and everyone was freaked out about it. And then the summer came and it was still kind of like high end, but, stuff going on. But I think a lot of hobbies picked up during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Turn it up. That might be distracting.
I know it, but it is already.
It's distracting me.
Describe it.
No, but it's funny because I'll be scrolling through social media and I can tell when like a celebrity like is shooting film, and I'm like, oh, they're shooting film now. That's interesting. Like they don't say that they're shooting film. Like you can just tell from the look of the pictures. Like they'll have a digital image and they'll have like a film image. You're like, oh, they're shooting film now. So it's
Yeah,
funny to see.
I don't know when it was, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, something. Some celebrity, what is it? One of the Kardashians or somebody like really famous had a Contax T2 point and shoot camera. It's just a point and shoot. It's not like the best Contax there is,
Right.
but it's a nice one. It's well made. You'll get sharp photos. And she had advertised that she was shooting on it, maybe on like a late night show interview or in social media. And because of that, the prices on eBay for that camera just went through the roof, like almost doubled. Because then
crazy.
everyone was like, I want that camera. I want to shoot film and I want that specific camera that this celebrity was using.
That's hilarious.
So like film cameras, I mean, even a Canon A1, those prices from 5 years ago have gone up, I think, pretty substantially.
It's also crazy to look at that and just like this is completely kind of off topic, but the influence that celebrities have over the general public
Right.
is wild. Because like you said, there are better cameras.
There are better cameras out there, sure, yeah.
So if someone wanted to get into film photography, maybe they'd go for that one, maybe they go for a different one.
Yeah.
So it's just because of like that influence, they
Right.
wanted that one.
They wanted that model, and then you could literally find an equivalent in a Pentax or a Canon or a Nikon point and shoot that would look the same, but just because she was using that particular brand,
Yeah.
like now it's like through the roof
Right.
expensive. And I think the post I saw was some enthusiast photographer who had been in the film for a while, and he was just pissed off that this camera now costs twice as much just because she was using it. Like, so if I want to get that camera, I have to pay twice the market value of probably what it was like a week
Right,
ago
yeah.
or something like that.
Right.
I could see that as being annoying.
I spend too much money on film
Well, and
cameras
prices has
already.
gone up just because of how much it's grown, just because of how crazy it's got. It was with Kodak too. It's just I started working here in 2020.
Yeah, you started
2021.
January of 2021. So
Yeah,
you
and the
worked
prices
here
were like,
over 3 years.
Okay, it's just gone up as I've worked here, just because the demand is so high for it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we definitely saw yearly film price increases on Kodak. Kodak was pretty consistent a couple years in a row where it was like every January it was like 10% or 15%. And so it's like we're almost waiting for that next wave. What will it be? Because for a while there, they had a hard time even keeping up with demand. We would literally, I think there was a time when we got in like 100 boxes of Portra 400 and we would email it out. And
literally all the next day, I would literally I wouldn't even put the boxes away. I would just keep them out and just pull directly from the boxes, not put them in our filing system or anything, because the whole table would literally just be Portra 400.
And within the day, I mean, I remember that we posted that, I think, the next day it was sold out. Like there was gone.
Oh yeah, we'd have an Instagram post just showing our table saying, yeah, that 100, 200 packs of Portra gone, it's sold out within like 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's better now. Like I'm looking at the back of the lab and we have all this excess film that we've had like back orders on, and now it's flooding the market now, which is good because in some ways like our Fuji 200 and 400 prices have gone down. So it's definitely always a plus when film goes down. 120 film prices went down this year. But yeah, just the demand was really crazy that Kodak, and I think COVID had something to do with it. Like they had production issues with raw materials and shipments, but now that it's finally like, I think we're past the COVID era with manufacturing and distribution, like it's finally hot back up.
Yeah.
But yeah. So why else is it so popular? Because that's all the business side of it, but why are people attracted to it? Why are you guys attracted to it, besides the fact that I hired you and you work here?
The only reason I got into it is because I got hired here.
Yeah.
I used to, like, low-key hate on film because I remember Grace, because she did the packaging side for a little bit, she had, like, a few disposables. I was like, that's so dumb to get a disposable camera. Like, why would you ever do that? Like, what's the point? Like, you can just shoot digital. And then I started working here, I was like, it's pretty cool, actually. And I started shooting film, and I love it now. It's like, I love shooting film. It's pretty much all I shoot. I'll do digital occasionally, but I love film.
I tried to get him out shooting, but he just doesn't.
I'm a busy guy.
He just doesn't like people.
But no, yeah, I love the look of film. You just can't replace it, and it's a lot more rewarding to shoot a roll of film. It actually look good, and then like you're able to like have these images that it's fun too because I actually get to process them myself. So it's like, especially like the black and white is super cool because like I shoot it, I do all the processing, and then I scan it. It's pretty awesome to really be able to do that.
Yeah, I think there's two, like what you were kind of like on that same line. Like if you shoot a roll of film and you get it back and you're like, this did not come out well. And then you have to realize, well, what did I do wrong? And then I have to work on it, and then I have to send it out again. Kind of because there's this delayed process to actually get this end result. You probably have a greater appreciation for it. Like in the end, like this roll came out really good. I'm proud of it. I like the images.
Yeah. Right.
And I like this particular film stock because it looks a certain way.
Right.
Yeah, that's another thing I really do like about film too, is it's like you can change the film stock and there's so many options. So with digital, obviously you can edit however you want. But sometimes like I would have, like if I never knew what Lumicron Purple looked like, I would never edit a photo that way.
Yeah.
Right.
But seeing it, I'm like, that's really cool with a lot of different things. Like I think specifically with architecture and like the sky with buildings and like words and or trees or something like that, it looks the most cool to me.
Right. The purple one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I would never have.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would take
anything
the idea of let me turn everything green, purple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then it's like gives something else to film. It's like it's so unique in that way where it's like, I mean, you don't have to edit it even.
Yeah.
I don't edit mine, by the way.
Yeah, there's times when I'll be like just out and about and like looking around in the environment. I'm like, man, this would be a good Portra 160 day, or this would be good for Ektar. Like my brain thinks in film stocks based on. So you're a film photographer when you start thinking about what you would shoot based on the environment.
Well, that's any photographer's brain. I feel like I look at the world through like
a lens.
How can I shoot this? Like how can I take a picture of this? Or like if I like video a lot too. So like how can I videos, or how can I take a picture of this? Or like I'll be walking and I'm like, Citadel 800T would look so cool right here. Just like stuff like that. It's just how you're even like listening to music and stuff too. Like I'll think about like, oh, so this song will go out with this photo or this video. Like it just all goes back to like how can I make this into like a picture or a video that I like.
The amount of throughout the day or whatever weeks, whatever, I'll have so many ideas, that I just started a note in my phone, and it is so long. But I haven't gotten to, like, any of them. But it's just, like, throughout the day, you think of something, you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then I write it down. And then I just go back and read them, and I'm like, these are good ideas. I should probably do them sometime. But I forget about them.
Right. Sierra, what are your thoughts on this, Miss? I've just learned how to shoot film. Check out her YouTube video where she learns how to shoot film. Right here. Ta-da!
Yeah, I haven't really shot much. Even though I did just learn, I must confess I haven't shot since that video. Just because it's not something that is integrated into my brain yet. It's very much so a like, oh yeah, I could do that. It's like it's not something that pops into my head immediately because I just don't have that familiarity yet. English. Yes, English. But yeah, eventually I would like to get into it a little more and test other roles because, you know, you guys talk about your favorite films, and I think it's come up a couple times like, oh, what's your favorite film stock? And I'm like, I don't know, like...
I shot Ultramax in my video.
Yeah, I shot Ultramax, or I've shot Fuji before, but like I don't really have...
You've shot gold.
And gold? Sure. See, that's the thing, is like I barely even know what I've shot. So I'm looking forward to actually like paying attention and doing it purposefully.
Yeah, I do think that's kind of probably people get into film photography, kind of like what you're saying. And they may not be super into it, but then when they start trying different film stocks and they say this one tangibly looked different, not in any bad way or any sense, but maybe the colors are just rendered differently. People then start gravitating to a specific one they like, and that's their go-to, or they'll just really start experimenting, especially like big orders. Like we'll get orders at the lab. It's like 20 rolls of film.
All different stocks, different companies, all sorts of things.
Yeah, people experimenting with different ones that are out there. Yeah.
I think it's also working at the film lab and seeing everyone else shoot all the film is really actually gives me an idea of what I like. Even though I haven't like shot all the films, I can like we see it all day long. You're like, oh, like they shot this.
Which that
I don't know,
that
really,
brings me
really
up to the second half of the podcast is okay. Why is film photography so popular? But if it's popular, what's our vantage point as a lab? So this may be a good time to take a break.
Popular? Like vantage point? How?
Like we're on the other side. People send us film. We process so much film now.
So much film.
So much. Yeah. So the second half of the podcast is going to be what's it like to be in the lab processing film? Because we're on the other. People are shooting it and they get their images, and that's great. But we see all the inner workings of it. So
everything.
We'll be right back. All right. So part 2 for today is why is film so popular, but more so from our vantage point as a film lab. What have we observed more so like working here at a lab, trends, things in that, or we can just talk about what's it like to work at a film lab because we're on the other side. We're shooting it, but we're also developing it for people. So Ava, open us up with some existential thoughts on this.
Why me? I was honestly like zoned out completely.
She's like, I'm not even listening to what Mike's saying right now. It's almost 5 o'clock, and I have a hot date tonight, and that's what I'm thinking about.
I mean, me and Ava definitely probably see the most as far as images. I mean, me and Ava are seeing
thousands
of photos probably a day, because we're burning through so much. You can definitely see the growth, though, just the younger generations getting into it. Because when we first started out, you'd get your core film. You had like your core guys. You shoot the 120, the 35. We'd see weddings. I think weddings was a big boom in film photography. I feel like I've realized a lot more white people are wanting that. Even this is like, hey, like shoot a few rolls of 35 millimeter with the digital because they like that look. But we would see that, and then you slowly start to see like the college kids. They had all their disposables, and you saw it grow crazy now, where it's like pretty frequently we're getting new orders of just college kids sending in like disposables or high schoolers, and so you see that grow through the kids getting more into it. But disposables I think are a big reason why the growth was so crazy. But yeah, we see a lot of images a day, and sometimes your brain is just so fried by the end of a work day, especially if I'm only scanning. Sometimes I'll jump around, but I mainly scan, so I'm in front of a computer just doing images all day, so you can get a lot, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
I feel like sometimes too, because we do so much, when I'm either scanning or exporting, at a certain point, you're not even looking at the image.
You're just looking at the colors.
Just looking at the colors. When you're scanning, you're just looking at the colors. When I'm exporting, I'm just looking at the orientation.
Right.
Are the people upside down? Are they sideways? And then I just go through and fix them and then send them and file names. And I'm not looking at, there's so much.
Yeah. I see what you mean about scanning. Like, if you're scanning so much film in a given day, you're not really paying attention to the content of the photos. I mean, you'll see something funny periodically, maybe catch your attention. Maybe that's a podcast.
We're not going into
Maybe a podcast in and of itself, but we probably shouldn't.
Crazy things
God.
We
we
probably shouldn't.
We've seen some crazy things.
Some interesting stuff.
I'd say 99% is pretty normal life.
Very rarely. We'll get a random roll in where it'll be like,
What is happening?
I don't know what's
Wild.
going on there.
Yeah, and we just correct the color and move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Send it off. But it's amazing how you can be looking at some of the images. It's almost like you're looking past the image and just seeing the color, and you're like, okay, too much magenta, yellow, blue,
For
cyan,
sure.
and you're
Yeah.
just like, literally like, correction, that one's fine,
literally.
Especially on the Fuji scanner,
fine. Yeah,
because you're not even looking at your hands.
yeah, your hands just know where
They
the
just know where the buttons are,
Yeah.
and you're just going through the whole roll, just like okay.
yeah. Our Fuji scanner has a little mini keyboard that's no joke, probably 5 by 5 inches, and it just has the keys for changing color and
Density.
exposure or density. And you work on it so much, you're literally just like you're typing. If you're typing something, typing an email, you just kind of know how to type. But this is like typing one-handed for enter, moving on.
Yeah.
Speaking of typing emails or just typing in general, I have found that when I'm at home typing something, I start typing what I send in the transfers.
Yes. I do the
just
same thing.
automatically start
I'll
with
open
that.
I'll open my computer and start typing in the passwords. Like, I'll open my computer and start typing in the password for
These
the computers here, because we have a passwords on the Nuritz's, because they're like normal like PC computers. So it's just hilarious. I'll open my computer, start typing, and I was like, wait, I'm not at work. I need to just.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny. Your
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
definitely, if you're scanning for a while, and once you do it for a while, your brain becomes hardwired to know exactly. Because most of the time, you're taking out like one magenta or like adding two yellow. It's very minuscule, but your brain is hardwired to like catch it. So like I'll see something and just know immediately what to do, and then just move on. Like I can burn through.
Yeah.
And some films, obviously, they're harder to color correct because the colors are wonky or it was shot inside, so it's crazy warm. But
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with kind of like what we're talking about, when your film comes into the lab, it's a negative, and the negative has to be inverted. And so there's a kind of a color balance between yellow, magenta,
And silence.
cyan. Yeah, I had to think about it. I'm like thinking of the keyboard. And so when we scan your film, it's inverted at the scanner, thinking there's too much yellow. We have to take it out, and we try to color balance your film to where it looks like how your scene looked. So if you're shooting on the beach, sure, it may be a golden day, but you don't want it to be so yellow to where everyone's skin is yellow. So if the scanner scans that, we end up doing corrections for it, and definitely something that's needed. But often, I think the scanners do a good job. The film is well made, so it does a good job inverting it. But how many rolls of film are we developing now in a given week?
A week?
A week?
Oh, 100.
Yeah. If
We do-
not,
A little over 100 a day. Sometimes 200.
Just color film.
Just
yeah,
color film.
oh, if you include all the black and white that we've been
fine.
getting in,
and slide.
on a busy week, I'd say we're doing probably about 400 to 500 rolls a week for sure.
Oh yeah, we're easily doing that now. I think.
yeah.
I was looking at
it's
stats from, I think we talked about this last podcast, we're literally doing double the amount of film we were a year ago. And we upgraded the film processors a few months ago, and we'll easily do over 100 a day. And there's some days, if we have the full staff here, we'll do over 200. And we do like 220, 230 is probably the max. And that doesn't include black and white and slide film.
and
So-
we've been ridiculously busy too recently. Just so much black and white coming in.
Yep. That's something that kind of surprises me, that black and white film is, I mean, we do way more color. 90% of what we do is probably color. But it definitely surprises me how much black and white film we've been doing lately. It feels
You
like that's
guys
grown
just
even
send
more.
in There's also a few guys that'll send in just chunks of black and white that
Yeah.
we know, and like we'll see their name on an order. It's like we already know that's gonna be about like 5 to 10 black and white rolls right there.
Yeah, there's definitely a few customers like we know that's what they shoot and that's what they send in. We were just talking about someone today. He sends in Fuji 400 and HP5. He has over 50 orders.
And 91.
Which
Is
person
it
are you talking about?
Theo?
Oh,
I don't know if they would want their name out there, but
yeah.
Jamie,
You
if
can
you're
bleep this
listening,
out if you don't want it.
Yeah, we won't
he
say
has
the last
90
name.
He's 91 orders.
91 orders.
Yeah.
She literally just shoots. I don't think I've ever seen anything besides HP5 or Fuji. Maybe occasionally it'll branch out, but it's usually just Fuji and HP5.
Yeah, every single order that he sends is Fuji and HP5, and he knows how to shoot it, and we develop it, and
That's awesome.
it looks awesome. But black and white has probably surprised me. Slide film is pretty niche. We don't do a lot of that, but we do enough to keep it going. But
I'd say we do 2 or 3 runs a week, unless it's a crazy busy week.
Yeah.
Cameron sends in film. We usually have a chunk of slide.
yeah, I think another unique thing, and Ava could probably talk more about this, is how much we've seen in people getting. You know what I'm going to say?
I know what you're going to say.
What
Go
am I
ahead.
gonna say?
I don't know
No,
what
go
you're gonna say.
You say it. You know.
The prince.
Yes.
Oh, the prince. Yeah, that's not yesterday, day before yesterday. We have a print table that I can fit them all on there. It was full, and then I also had like a third of our packing table.
He started invading my
like a third of it covered in prints.
Yeah.
And went through like
Yeah, the printing workstation, the table we have set up for it, when we bought it, we're like, man, we have so much space. We can print off an order, set it down, print off an order, set it down. And eventually,
story of
the
our
table
lives.
is full of orders,
No.
and then we package them to ship them. But now we're doing so much prints that it's going onto the other work table.
Yeah.
So it seems like even that part of film photography, not just I shoot film and I get my picture digitally, like, no, people want the physical print.
physical print.
They want to get the film in the mail, they open it, they have that tangible, something.
Which I get
Which,
that.
I mean, I
like
get that.
our other video, we print photos. Film pictures printed.
Print your film pictures. So
Yeah,
they don't
print them,
have
guys.
to be this big.
I don't know if you can see them, but print it.
The light leakers. Yeah. But yeah, it's wild how much so the printer we use at the lab, it has roll paper. It's literally a roll of paper that can print like 400 prints. And some days
300.
300, you think?
I think it's 300.
3 to 400.
3 to 400.
Somewhere in that range.
Depends on if there's 120.
Oh, yeah. But if it's just 4x6 prints, we'll go through, there's days that we'll legitimately go through like 3 rolls. So we're printing like 1,200 images in a day and shipping them.
Sometimes more.
Yeah. So, and that's something, I mean, yeah, our volume has grown, but I think along with that volume growth, we've seen print orders being even more. It's not just like we're doing double the print orders. We're doing, I think, well over double just because it's so popular.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Prints look good though. Like we use an Epson lab printer. It uses more than the traditional 3 ink system. And so they just have a great dynamic range for color and they look good. I mean, clearly John is just rocking in this image. So
He loves
Yeah.
this picture.
So much.
when John was on vacation, we were coming up with ways to make his work life
Harder.
better.
Better, Ava.
Better.
Better.
That's what I meant.
That's what we meant to
You
say.
guys see what I have to deal with? Scanning for hours on end and then dealing with this.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Michael has to deal with us.
This is the one who
Yeah,
goes
no,
on
he has to deal with all
Michael
of us.
has to deal with us just yapping
that
away.
he really got the short end of this.
And I don't know what to say to that.
He's like, moving on.
He's thinking about how much.
I'm thinking about I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks and I will be gone and you guys will run the lab without
the
me.
Lord, I'll be gone.
No, I think he's like worried.
Nervous.
Oh, other way.
I'm not nervous. You guys are wonderful and
I'm not nervous.
you will run the lab well and I won't have a single worry while I'm gone. Hopefully we don't have John's syndrome where somebody leaves on vacation and something breaks.
It wasn't bad last.
Nothing
this
broke.
Last week I was.
Although this past week he was on vacation and I pulled a muscle in my neck and I couldn't turn my neck left or right for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, we were talking about it. I was like, well, this happened because John's on vacation. Machines didn't
like
break.
when on John's
No
vacation.
scanners didn't
Well, we
break.
blamed everything on you.
Yeah, there was a lot. Brianna had an idea of coming up with a sticker that said,
It's John's fault.
It's John's fault. And we would just
That is so out of pocket for no reason. Okay, I do my job pretty well. Okay?
She's only
I
worked
stay in my
here
lane.
like a month, and she already knows you.
Oh
So.
my gosh, it's just unbelievable.
You're welcome.
I stay in my lane and I do my job and I just get
That is
slandered.
so not
It's
true.
unbelievable.
That is so not true.
It's unbelievable.
John does like to pick on Ava a lot, so I think we need to let
Stay
that
in
be
his
known.
lane, my foot.
Yeah.
You do not.
Yeah, but aside from like crazy growth, it does seem like film photography is not going away anytime soon. It's going to be super popular, and yeah.
Yeah. Just the deep contemplation.
Well, I think that wraps it up for today.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Cheers.
Bye.
No, bye.